Shalom, Kor Haloyim, La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who grew well and who have taught us, young brothers, his knowledge. Honor salutations to you, fellow Achim out there that's out there doing the work of truth sincerity. Shalom to you. Shalom to the Achwaf that believe as well. Back at you with another lesson, and I'm reporting on, tensions between Israel and Palestine, which, it's been an ongoing thing for well over, 70 years. And, of course, this is proof that the Lord haven't established Jacob yet, because the scriptures say, give him no rest, which I have it queued up. All right. Isaiah 62, and I'm going to start at verse 6, the point is verse 7. It says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest, till he establish, and till he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth again. And Jerusalem is not a praise, all right, in the earth, and neither have it been established, because Jerusalem, all right, is a people before it's a place, all right, and the people of Jerusalem are us so-called Negro, Latino, and American people, okay, and we're not a praise in the earth. We live in, again, in this lower state, so we're not a praise in the earth, all right. So with that being said, let's get to the matter at hand. All right, right here from courtesy of We On News. I'm gonna play some of this video clip, and Lord willing, it's edifying too. Let me say that because this is something that they're trying to silence us on, speaking on here in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make it so-called YouTube friendly, and Lord willing, it's edifying again. So here go the video.
Israel has unleashed one of the biggest air attacks on the West Bank in nearly 2 decades. Israeli forces hit the city of Jenin with drone strikes overnight. At least 6 drones were seen circling over the city and the adjoining camp. Between 1,000 and 2,000 Israeli soldiers entered the city. They were backed by armored bulldozers and snipers on rooftops.
So as you can see right there, what's going on? All right, this is wartime.
Jenin brigades, a unit made of Palestinian jihadists, engaged with the Israeli forces, and one of the unmanned aircraft was shot down. A gun battle between the two sides lasted well into the day. At least 8 Palestinians were killed, 50 others were injured. Many remain in critical condition.
All right, so as you can see, all right, there's war over in that land, all right, which that land belongs to the 12 tribes of Israel. And the point of this video is always to prove that the Lord haven't established, Jacob in that land as of yet, And so one of the things I'm gonna focus on, and I'm gonna make this video quick, Lord willing. It's all based on, it's all just by the Spirit, man. I try to make it short and concise, but sometimes the Spirit had me do it longer. So, hey, the Spirit will flow how it will. All right, so right here, in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. All right, I'm gonna focus on, the prophecy of the Lord returning, the Israelites into their land. All right, and how they would be when they would return. And one of the things that, I want you to keep in mind is that when the Israelites return into the land, they won't be at war. Absolutely not. Okay. So this is the book of Jeremiah 30, and I'm gonna start at verse Verse 8, it says, "For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord, their power, Yahweh Bashem Shai, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them." Now we know that King David was not on the scene, okay, during the time of the Babylonian captivity. You see, the Babylonian captivity came roughly, according to the research I looked up, was about 425 years, all right, give or take, after King David had died, okay, where the Babylonian exile had taken place, okay, and you had the tents of Judah, all right, but started with the the northern tribes. We were cast out and removed, and it was Judah that went into the Babylonian exile, all right, and those of us that are a part of the northern tribes went into the Assyrian, all right, captivity. So we know that King David was not on the scene, okay. So it says, "But they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them." So now we was told about a man by the name of King Masha, all right, to whom I myself, I wasn't there. I don't know the man personally, but through the spirit, the report I heard of him and watching videos of him, just by faith, I believe that King Masha was King David in the reincarnation, and it's still, me believing that according to faith, this ain't the time of the kingdom, because I believe, when the kingdom is established, that man by the name of King Masha will be raised up, all right, which I believe is King David, in the reincarnation. But King David plays a major part of prophecy of us Israelites returning to the land. Okay, so you cannot leave that out. Okay, King David will sit on the throne. All right, Ezekiel 37, it says that David shall be their prince. Now let me get that real quick. It says David shall be their prince. Okay, let me go to Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel 37:25. It says, "And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever." See, so King David, all right, plays a major part of prophecy, all right, of the Israelites returning to the land. And also the Lord told the prophet Amos, was it Amos 9, that he would raise up the tabernacle of David. This is Amos 9:11. It says, "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." So we know that King David, all right, which the tabernacle of David, all right, goes into the elect, but we know that King David plays a major part of the prophecy. Okay, now getting back to the topic, right? I'm at Jeremiah 30:9. It says, "But they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid." Now you gotta ask yourself, if you're going to war with someone, that means you're clearly afraid. And the only reason you go to war is to dominate another people, all right, into winning, or sorry, I said winning, into winning a war so that you will have peace. Okay. That's the reason why whoever wins the war, they have peace, because they are in control. Okay. They're the ones that's, all right, subdued their enemies. Okay. Or their opponents. All right. And in this case, the so-called Arabs, all right, and these Israelis been fighting for a long time. All right, they've been fighting for a long time, and it's been nothing but war. All right, all these missile attacks. It's always bloodshed throughout the years. All right, and it's just not befitting prophecy. Okay, it's not befitting prophecy. Okay, and that's something that people overlook because they'll let you believe. They will have you to believe that that the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, we just basically just some other some just our own race, man. Just like we don't have an identity, which our identity been stolen, and the whole world knows it. And pretty much, us claiming our identity again is, it is a controversy, okay? But you gotta ask yourself, you know, why is there no peace over in that land, okay? Because one thing about the Bible is it's a prophetic book, all right? And the scriptures tell you in Isaiah 34:16, it says, "Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read." All right. It says, none of these shall fail, meaning the prophecies. All right. And the prophecies of the scriptures would not fail. So the prophecy of Israelites returning into the land of Israel, all right, and not learning war anymore, all right, is a prophecy, okay? And not being afraid, more importantly. But what you have today is you have the people that are within that land are afraid. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 4. It says, "And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people." This is talking about the children of Israel. All right. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 3. All right. And I'll bring this out all the time I do a video on this subject matter. So, again, this is a thing of repetition. So, hey, we're going to keep pushing. Okay. We're going to keep pushing through the Spirit, man. Let me start at the top. Isaiah 2:1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. All right. Now, Isaiah saw in the vision, all right, which, the prophecies was given unto the prophets, all right, in the visions, all right, they will receive. Okay. Verse 2, "And it shall come to pass in the last days," all right, we're living in the last days, "that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it." All nations are not flowing into the land of Israel. Okay. Simply put, man, it's just constant war over there. It's a hot zone for war. Okay. It says, verse 3, "And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways." That's not going on, all right? Because the ways that the Lord set before us was he gave us his law, okay? He gave us his laws, his commandments, statutes, and judgments. And the Lord also said he would program us, all right, by giving us this new body, all right, and taking out that stony heart and putting in that fleshly heart, okay? Making us immortal. We're not going to sin or die, we're not going to sin or go off anymore. All right, the scriptures say that he should not teach his neighbor, for all Israel should know the Lord, right? Matter of fact, let me get that. Okay. It said all Israel going to know the Lord from the least to the greatest. All right. Let me get that in Hebrews. Okay. Hebrews 8. This is reiterating the new covenant, right? I'm gonna go right to the point, right? Hebrews 8 and 10. All right, the verse 11 is a point, right? Hebrews 8 and 10, it says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind," see, "and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest." See, it says, "For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness and their sins, and their iniquities will I remember no more." So the Lord, all right, is going to make the children of Israel perfect, man. Begin with the elect, okay? So This is prophecy, man. All right, and we're not in the new covenant as of yet. Okay, because we're not going to get those new bodies, okay, and be programmed to be perfect until we enter into the chariots, which are the so-called UFOs. All right, the vehicles of salvation. All right, for the Israelites. Okay, so excuse me. Let's move along from there. Going back to Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, it says, "And many people shall go." I'm in Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3. "And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." See, and this is not going on. All right. If the law of the Lord was being executed in Jerusalem right now, which is the land of Jerusalem I'm talking about, or the land of Israel in itself, period, you would hear a lot of UN Security Councils talking about, um, inhumane treatment, because anything like, okay, so to give an example, okay, a man that lied with mankind as he lied with a woman have committed an abomination. It says they should surely be put to death. And if he was to do that, they would say that that's a hate crime. If say that was going on in the land of Israel, it would be an outcry for a hate crime. Okay, and that's within the law of the Lord. Okay, so you don't see that because the law of the Lord haven't went forth. All right. Verse 4, it says, "And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." All right, so that's that's a clear prophecy, man, that's supposed to take place when the children of Israel, all right, return into their land. Okay, but nobody, research the scriptures, look up, the scriptures concerning prophecy, and see for themselves. Okay, the thing that they want to do is demonize us for breaking this out. This is the reason why they pass some laws so we can't speak on these things. So, they're trying to silence the truth. Okay, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, we're going to push. Okay. So another indicator that they're not the people, another indicator that the people are not in the land. I pulled something up on Google. All right, and it says, as of 2023, the world's core, I'm going to use the word Amalekites, because that's who they are. Amalek of the house of Esau, Edom. They're still Edomites. It says the core Edomites, or Amalekites population, those identifying as small hats above all else, was estimated at nearly 16 million. It says 0.2% of the 8 billion worldwide population. Now, this is not supposed to be, because when you go in the scriptures, right, it says that the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, man. Okay, let's get that, man. Hosea chapter 1, it says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered." See, because that means, that there are so many Israelites, man, that you cannot measure or number them. Like in comparable to the sea, not literally, as the grains of the sand in the sea, right? But it's just referring to how many, or how the nation of Israel is a large nation, man. You can't even number them, man. Okay, and you look at this, each tribe is like a nation. The so-called Negroes is like a nation. The so-called Mexicans is like a nation. The so-called Puerto Ricans is like a nation. All right, the so-called Cubans, all right, the so-called Dominicans, right, so-called Haitians, the so-called North American Indians, the so-called Seminole Indians, all right, the Argentinian Chileans, whoever come of, of all the 12 tribes, man. We're all like a nation in itself. So you put all the 12 tribes together, we're this great nation, man. And need I mind you, the confusion to face Israelites, the speckled bird Israelites that look like the other nations of people, So you people out there never thought about that, man. See? It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. See? So if you can measure a number, zero point 0.2 of 8 billion worldwide population, that's a small number. That fits the prophecy of Esau, Edom. When you go into the book of one is Obadiah, right? Yeah, Obadiah verse 2, it says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. See? Thou art greatly despised. Excuse me. And when you look at small is a small number, small portion, right? 0.2% of 8 billion people. That's a really, really small, population, man. It says roughly 16 million out of 8 billion. See? So, things don't add up, man. Things don't add up, man. Simply, things don't add up. And no one questions this because they're making it where it's illegal, all right? Or you can be brought to charges, if you speak about this, the small hats, the Amalekites, right? See? Now this is Jeremiah 47 and verse 9. It says concerning Edom. All right, matter of fact, let me get it on here so you can see it. I like the titles you get from the blue letter, it'd be right on point, man. Jeremiah 49 and 7, it says prophecy against Edom, as you can see, right? Now when you jump down, right, and it's talking about Edom, all right. Verse 15, it says, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. See? So again, that fits Edom, man. Because when you look up who these people are, all right, we go to the history of the ones that claim to be, the people of the children of Israel, all right, the ones that's going on the earth saying that they're the people. A lot of them claim, the Ashkenaz, descent to claim, they're from Jacob, and which Ashkenaz really go back to Japhet, by the way, but they took over the land of Japhet, going back even to the time of the Greek Empire, when they pushed out the people of Japhet, which were so-called people of color as well, people of brown, hue or pigment or melanin, right? And they pushed them out, they took over those lands, okay? They took on some of those names, okay? And pretty much that's something that Arthur Koestler had exposed, okay? So, pretty much they try to claim that they descend from Jacob that way, but it's been disproven many times over again. And when you go into the prophetic curses that befell upon the Israelites, that's a clear indication of who they are, because again, even in the book of the curses, it said that the curses would be upon the Israelites as a sign, okay? And that's a sign so you can identify who are the people. See? So let's move from there. Okay, I want to go to let's go to the book of Jeremiah 31. All right, let's go to Jeremiah 31. Okay. This is Jeremiah chapter 31. Um, let me see here. Bear me 1 second. I want to grab a precept because it mentions Ephraim, right? And Ephraim, all right, you know the story of the split, right? Um, you know the story of Ephraim, all right, and what happened between the nation of Israel when they were split. It became Judah, the tents of Judah, the kingdom of Judah, and then you had Ephraim, which became the head of the northern tribes. In this chapter of Jeremiah, the 31st chapter, right? In verse 18, it goes into it, right? It says, Jeremiah 31:18, I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself. Thus, thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art the Lord my power. Surely, after that I was turned, I repented, and after that I was instructed. I smote upon my thigh. I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. And us northern tribes, we pay for our iniquities as well when this Renaissance came. All right, because when you think about it, when you know the whole in-depth situation of the transatlantic slave trade, you had some of us northern tribes that were sent out across to the other side of the world as well. Okay, with the so-called known world, from over in the Western Hemisphere or the Americas. Okay, so it says, verse 20, is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord. All right. So when you go into the mercy the Lord showed Ephraim, which referring to the northern tribes, because when you go into the book of Ezekiel, all right, the 37th chapter, right? See, it says the reunion of Judah and Israel, right? This is how the Lord have mercy on Ephraim, and he's joining, all right, us back into our brothers of the southern kingdom, all right, and we becoming one kingdom. Okay, this is a reunion right here, right? So back in Ezekiel 37 and in the verse 15, it says, okay, the reunion of Judah and Israel, right? That's the title. Oh, slack it. It says, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel his companion. You had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Which was collectively known as the Jews, and they was known as the southern kingdom, all right? Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions. See? Which would be the rest of us, which we're called the northern tribe, or Ephraim, because Ephraim became the head of the northern tribes when you know about the split, right? Jeroboam and Rehoboam, right? You had Rehoboam, he was head of the Rehoboam was the head of the southern kingdom, right? He was King Solomon's son. And then you had Jeroboam, he became the head of the northern tribes, okay? Which he was a Ephraimite, okay? That's why it says the stick of Ephraim. See? Now, you go to the book of Exodus, what was it, Exodus 1, I believe. Let me see, Exodus 1 and verse 20. Let me see. Okay, is it Exodus or Numbers? Is it Numbers? Let's slack it. I mean Numbers. Yeah, bear me 1 second. So this is Numbers, right? Okay, let me see. It mentions Ephraim, right? All right. It says Numbers 1 and 32 of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, right? Because you got the theologians, they'll say, well, what about Joseph? This is right here proving that Joseph and Ephraim is interchangeable, because when you go to the book of Revelation, right? And I brought this up for a very good reason, man. Because, guys like vocab, he'll bring this up, right? It's right here in Revelation 7 and verse 8. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph, which again referring to Ephraim, it says we're sealed 12,000, right? Because Joseph and Ephraim, Joseph is Yahweh, and Ephraim is Aparium. Yahweh means I am, he will add unto me, right? And then Ephraim, right? Aparium means I am many. So it's interchangeable, okay? And that's the reason I brought that up. All right. That's the reason I brought that up, because, again, someone may say, why does it say, someone would ask, why does it say Joseph and Ephraim? Okay, because Joseph and Ephraim is interchangeable. Okay. So back in Ezekiel 37 and 17, it says, and join them one to another and to one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. See? So all the 12 tribes will be united. All right. Start with the elected, all right, of the 12 tribes. Okay. And they would be united, all right, prior to, enter into the kingdom, which the kingdom haven't been established yet. Okay. And, when you look at the elect itself, okay, the elect itself is 12,000 men of each tribe, okay. And then you have the rest of the remnant, which a total of 1/3 of Israelites are going to be saved on this side. So this is verse 18. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? All right. And it goes on to say that the Lord will make them one stick again, right? And he says that we won't be two kingdoms or two nations again, right? Verse 22, I'm gonna jump down to verse 22. It says, I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. See, one nation, man. It says, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. See, so there you go, man. There you go, man. So, you should have a representation of all the tribes are within the land. Okay, that's how the kingdom of heaven, all right, or kingdom of Israel, by default, is going to be established. See, no one talks about these things because they don't want you to know these things. Just being honest. Right? They don't want you to know these things. They want you to just, not speak on these things and, not teach the truth, in reality. But we have to keep teaching the truth. We have to strive for the truth unto death. Okay, Sirach 4 and 28. Okay, and the truth is, the Lord having established His people in the land again, because why? They're at war. All right, and I read to you that they won't be at war anymore. So I want to have this news clip right here. All right, this won't be available to me. See. So with that, I want to say, Lord willing, this video have been edifying, to those of you who may have watched it and tuned in. And until next video, I want to say shalom. Okay, shalom.